Good evening. My name's Nishi for those of you that already know me. I'm going to take a stab at trying to make you guys laugh, or at least getting some things off of my mind. I just got home from a comedy show and I found it very funny and I find it very inspiring. For those of you that know me, I don't really like to sit still very much. I'm usually moving around. So it's hard to sit still for movies and things like that. But comedy shows, I love watching live. I love looking them up on Netflix, for example, finding out about comics that I'm not aware of that are not so mainstream. So I feel like I've been discovering lots of laughter and actually watching those types of things lately. Um, I have two children, one 7-year-old daughter and one 3-year-old boy. So that in itself provides so much material for comedy. So I wanted to just share a few thoughts. Again, I'm not a pro by any means, so I'm going to be reading off of my notes perhaps a little bit. And obviously, there's probably a lot to be desired in terms of my photography or cinematography or whatever you want to call it. But again, this is back to the basics. I'm in the comfort of my own home, and hopefully, we'll get some laughs out of this. Let me look at, and I'll show you my notes here. It's a little piece of paper, if you can see. No, probably someone's business card. That's another thing that's kind of funny about me is I have lots of harebrained ideas. I generally jot them down in the most random spots. One of the most random spots I think I found in my car was I had a bunch of notes listed on the back of a maxi pad. That's right. It was brand new in the car and I couldn't find any paper. I had a pen and I thought, well, what the heck? It's something to write on. So anyways, let me get started. A few things, I'm of East Indian descent, at least my parents are, and they brought us to this country. They've been here for about 40 plus years. And sometimes I just think, gosh, they are pretty rooted in their culture, which is great, but they bring us to this country and expect probably certain things to come from us. I have two siblings and lots of cousins and lots of family friends I've grown up with in the area. And I feel like life is very different than probably what they expected. So some funny things come up, with cultural differences. So I want to start with that topic since it's near and dear to my heart. I'm very family oriented and parents are always on top of my mind. Some funny things lately that have come up with technology. So as we know, there's so many different dimensions to technology and the differences and the challenges it produces. So imagine throwing in cultural differences on top of that. So my mother, thank goodness, has an iPhone, she's been trying to text lately. She's had an iPhone for about a year. And just lately, she's noticing that in order to be able to connect with us or talk to us more, she can text versus calling. I mean, how many of us call these days? So lately, she'll text, and then if the text gets past one or two responses, she'll just literally say, call me, no more texting, call me. And in person, she gets very frustrated, adamant, like, nope, call me. If it's more than two responses, she won't text anymore. I feel like I'm the family tech support. I feel like my brother's tech savvy, but he's a little too busy. I feel like my sister, I don't know, I just seem to be the go-to person when it comes to technology and my parents. So I am not very technically savvy myself, so that's an interesting little situation. So lately my mom has been saying, I'm not getting any texts, I'm not getting any phone calls, I'm not seeing anyone's pictures. I don't know, this phone is broken. And I'm like, what's going on with it, Mom? Is it doing this? Is it doing that? I'm tier 1 tech support. I don't know. You all use your phone so much, it never dies. My battery always dead. Like, okay, have you been charging? All these questions. So it's funny. So maybe this weekend I'll have her phone looked at. But and then she's saying she'll get some texts. I don't know. It's just funny to be the tech support for her. But I'm proud of her. She's texting and she's getting the hang of it. What's another thing that happens? Oh, my dad. He is really funny. I went over there the other day and he's like showing us what he bought. And it was an old school, those AM, FM radios, the armbands that you work out with. He was so proud of himself. He bought it and he just kind of sets it down on the table, says, fix it. I don't know how to work it. All right. So I get the instructions out. Meanwhile, my kids are crying, screaming, wanting food, wanting this, that, and the other. Thinking, okay, I'll figure this out quickly. I just thought it was adorable that he had this old school AM, FM headphone set. But he got it to work and he was proudly using it. And what else? And then when he calls us, he leaves us messages and he'll say things like, hi, this is your dad calling. Or he'll say, no, he'll say, this is Victor calling. And then he'll leave his phone number, the whole thing, like 206 dot 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 whatever. It just cracks me up because obviously I know it's my dad because he'll say Victor, and then the phone number, it's probably been the same for over 20 plus years. It's just this cute little nuances. What else? My parents, let me look at my notes here. Hang on 1 second. There's probably so many things that I can't even think of right now. So I'm going to change topics here. Another funny topic in my life is the funny, what's the darndest things that kids say. So lately, we'll be driving in the car quite a bit, and the most actually frustrating and funniest thing to me is you'll be in the car and two kids in the back seat, they might be dead asleep or really quiet, and I'll be on speakerphone trying to call someone's customer service or whatever I'm doing. I need to speak to someone. I'll be on hold for 20 to 30 minutes, and then of course when my turn comes up, the customer service rep answers the telephone. They both kids are wide awake and they need my attention right away. So I love the whole voice prompts when they're asking you to press this button or speak. And then they get background noise from the children. So the voice operator might say, "How can I help you?" And I'm about to respond, but instead my children's voice gets heard. And she's like, "Do you want to speak to so-and-so?" You're like, "No." And then they speak up again. And then she's like, "Do you want to do this?" I'm like, "No, I want just customer service." And then the third time it picks up my kids' voices again. And meanwhile, I'm yelling at them saying, "Please be quiet. Mama's on the phone," etc., etc. And then by that time, the phone operator teleprompter is saying, "Thank you for calling such and such. Please try your call again later." Like that went nowhere after a 20 to 30 minute hold. What's another funny thing my kids have been doing lately that other parents can relate to? Oh, both kids were sitting in the back of the car yesterday or the day before and having deep philosophical discussions about where they're going to live when they're older. So I was just listening, and my daughter was saying, she was asking me, "Mama, can I live with you until I'm 22? I'm thinking, sure, if you want to. I'm going on about my business driving. And then she looks over at her little brother, Avi, and says, "Avi, do you want to live with Mama till when you're older?" He looks at her and says, "Do you want to live with her?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to live with Mama." He goes, "Me too." Thinking, kiddos, you don't have to decide that right now, but sounds good. You'll always have a roof and we'll stay in this house as long as you want to. But I think it was adorable how they're having these big discussions, and who knows what they'll be thinking at that age or even at 18. What are some other funny things that have been going on lately? A big pet peeve of mine, shoes in the house. I can probably go on and on about this. So there's so many articles, so much information out there about shoes and the house and the bacteria it tracks in, and how you're just everywhere, all over, stepping on all kinds of things, and then you bring that into the house. So I'm a real freak when it comes to shoes in the house. So people come over, I'll politely ask, "Could you remove your shoes?" And generally people know that about me. And if anyone I'm talking about is watching this, I swear I have the best intentions and I like you as a person, but this was just an interesting experience it brought about. So even when movers come into the house, I try to have booties or contractors for a variety of things that are fixing up around the house. Booties will suffice, and they don't have a problem with that. So recently, one of Rhea's friend's mothers comes over, and this lady's great. I've enjoyed meeting her. New to the neighborhood, so I've enjoyed meeting her. She's very active in the PTA. She came over, and we're at the door, and it's that awkward moment where I'm kind of looking down at, "Could you please remove your shoes?" I'm thinking, but I didn't say it at that point. And so her and her daughter walked in, and their daughter, well, actually they didn't take off the shoes. I said, "Do you mind removing your shoes, please? Because you have two young kids and sometimes they eat things off the floor or whatever. It's just, I prefer no shoes." She was like, "Well, I really can't." I'm like, "Well, I'd really appreciate it." She's like, "Well, no, I really can't." I'm like, "Okay." She goes, "I have cerebral palsy." And I felt so horrible. What do you do in that situation where, of course, the one thing I don't like this person has health conditions that's warranting or prohibiting them from removing their shoes because it creates some imbalance and pain. I thought, oh Lord, what the hell? I mean, what am I going to say? So go ahead and wear your shoes. But honestly, I would say majority of the time the conversation was great, but my focus could not get off the shoes. I was having such a hard time with that. It was funny to me because it's like, it's almost more of like some powers above telling me to loosen up a bit. But anyways, that was funny. And then um yeah, it just cracks me up. And then if you hear people talk about the coming from the outside and they're like, oh, these are my inside shoes. It's like, no, you just came in from the outside and they were on your feet. So what do you mean they're your inside outside shoes? I don't get it. I really don't understand that concept. But teach their own. Just kind of a funny thing. What else do I want to talk about? Let's see. Oh, another funny topic, passwords. First off, how many passwords do we need to have in life? I feel like it's so challenging to keep track of them all. I can't tell you how much time I spend wasting on, the whole accessing websites and forgetting your password or username link so many times. A circular situation where you can't get in, you need to reset your password, but you don't remember the old one. It just goes on and on. I think, oops. The funniest one to me is when it requires a capital, a lowercase, a character, a number, has to be 10 characters long. It's like, my goodness. And then remembering them all is just a whole nother challenge. I also think with passwords, I've had situations where you have to call sometimes when you get locked out if you've tried 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times and you can't get in, so you have to call the customer service line and get unlocked. And then they ask you every single question from your what do you call it, security key questions. And I love the questions they ask you. What's your favorite drink, or what's your favorite book, or what's your favorite car, where did can you give me your firstborn child? I mean, it's ridiculous the things that they ask. So yeah, passwords is a kind of a funny topic to me. What else is going on? I think that might be it for tonight, and this will be an intro, see how you all like this, and maybe I'll try to come up with some new material and share every so often. All right, signing off. Good night.